For most of us, saying no is quite difficult, and it gets even more difficult when there's a good cause involved. Small businesses, artists and performers are often asked to donate products and services for a cause, from an animal welfare charity to a school fundraising event. Kat Paz and I are going to discuss if you should be donating and how you can get something out of this too. It doesn't have to be a one-way street. G'day, Kat.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really good. Thanks for coming in and talking about this. It's something close to my heart, and it's something that seems to be really common at this time of the year. There's a lot of events happening, a lot of balls, a lot of things that are happening that are asking for donations. So let's start at the beginning. Someone asks you to donate, whatever it is, a service or a product. What's the first thing you need to consider?
I think the first thing you need to consider is I'll start from a more ethical point of view, if it's in line with your ethics as well. And sometimes you have to consider if it's in line with clients. If you've got some big clients, you have to be aware of the circumstances surrounding your sponsorship. Sometimes it has to be a two-way street in business, unfortunately. It's very different from a personal perspective. You're pushing things forward because that's what you believe in, and that plays a role. But also think of your clients as well, because if it's an area of, if you're going to sponsor an event where even you wouldn't actually want to deal with those people that are attending the event, then why do it? Because the point of sponsorship or donations is to get that kind of plug, to say, oh, thanks for sponsoring. But then if they're not your type of market, really you shouldn't be doing it. So research the event. Just giving something isn't that amazing if it's not in line with your values. Like for me, if it's a women's driven event, I'm there. That's an easy criteria for me. But then if there's others where you're just not in agreement with who even the other sponsors are, then you probably don't want to be clumped into that same basket. Yeah, that would be the first thing to check before you say yes.
Absolutely, yeah. Find if it aligns with your own ethics, and then, find out if you want to be aligned with it, or if it's good for your business, or maybe you should be donating personally.
Yeah, that's right. You could do that. And I have done that in situations where people have asked for, say, services. Instead, I offer maybe monetary, if I can put a proper donation. I prefer to do that than to be asked for something in return, especially if I've got no control where the so-called exposure that people talk about. You always hear it. You get exposure from it. And I'm like, if you have no idea what the exposure is, then if you can donate financially, knowing if it's for some sort of charity, then do that, rather than just giving your services or putting your services out there and you really don't know who their market is. It could be more work for yourself, because maybe you're going to have to deal with inquiry management as a result of those, of getting that exposure. And then you find, gosh, these aren't even my ideal clients in the first place. And it's almost a waste of time for you on both ends. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I want to just go back a couple of steps to talking about the ethics of it. I find when people ask me to donate, some things I'm very happy to donate to, usually animal charities.
Yes.
So I'm very happy to donate to that. But if it's something that I'm not personally aligned with, it's a good cause, but I've only got finite resources.
Yes.
So, yes, it's a great charity. I'd love to help, but I can't, these are the charities that I'm donating products or services or whatever it is, or money to. So that makes it easy. If I've got that strategy in place in my head, I would love to help, but my donation's already tied up with these charities.
Yeah, you don't even, if you're going to say no, there is a way of just saying no, or you just say no, thank you. That's
nah.
Yeah, nah. And that is the no, thank you in the Aussie way. But another way of saying no is I'm already committed to other events similar to this. So my sponsorship pool is at a maximum. However,
hang on, my sponsorship pool is at a maximum. I'm already committed.
Yes.
Everyone's writing that down.
It's just a way of, being polite and keeping the relationship really well. You might know the person that's contacted you, and you want to keep that opportunity open for the future. So just because you don't know enough, don't slag or bag that person. They're probably also learning how to get sponsors in. So, keep it polite between you, because you just don't know who they don't know. And Perth has that uncanny thing that we just know each other. We're such a big, small town. It's an unusual phenomenon, even for me, coming from a smaller country. And I'm from a small town. But here people know each other. So just be aware of that you don't have to be rude at the same time. Don't be pressured to be rude. Just keep being polite. Other people feel pressured to give not just, say, a sponsorship prize, but also be part of the event. And that's weird. I think those ones, you should say no to those, because you're either attending the event anyway as part of your sponsorship. Like, you like what they do, and then they go, hey, do you want to sponsor? Yeah, sure, you do it. But then if it's a condition of you sponsoring, like they say to you, hey, do you mind giving us a service thing? Oh, and also as part of it, especially if you have to attend and talk about it, oh, and can you buy a ticket as well? Don't do that. No. Because that's now a business. It's different, completely different. It's a way of just getting bums on seats.
Yeah.
There's people that are paid to do that, like at the Oscars. That's not your business. So
yeah, it is really kind of rent a crowd, but you're not even doing that. You're paying to be there and double paying. You're double paying. You're paying to be there and paying for your service to be there.
Maybe triple if you include your time.
Oh, goodness. Yes.
And then you're on a table with people you have nothing in common with.
Now, talking about the types of organisations and the way you donate, can this be, you've got your accountant hat on now, please, can you claim a tax invoice for this, or tax receipt?
Well, if you're going to donate like your services, that's an easy accounting entry for it to be done, because it's just like, oh, I gave a service, but I didn't get money for it. So it's almost like a discount in a way. That's the simple way of doing it. And then the ones where I offer cash instead, it's because I know that they've got what they call the deductible gift recipient status. So that's what I would prefer to do.
Can you do that if they've got that deductible gift recipient status?
Yes.
If you donate a service or a product, can you still claim that?
Yeah, it will go in as a discount. So
Okay.
it will go in as a discount because you're still providing a service. So you want to account for it as income. And then in the expenses section, and I'm talking a profit and loss here, but I don't want to put you through how to read a profit and loss via radio. So yeah, when the expenses part, it shows as a discount. So you offset that.
Okay.
Because you want to account for it. You want to know how much money you're spending. And I do that. I've got a line there for mine where I say sponsorships or director discounts or whatever it is, so that I know that is still my time being spent.
And now that we're onto the spreadsheet part of the show, perhaps you need to consider including sponsorship and donations as part of your marketing and advertising budget.
Yes, and I think Nicole Ashby was on the mark there about how you can use that. It's similar to media and stuff, where she was saying you just need to put yourself out there, but plan it, because she said plan it. Plan what you're going to say so you attract the right people. So know the events that are happening. And I loved how she said use Google alerts. So if it's something that you like to do, a Google alert is awesome because it will also link through to Facebook. So then you get alerts about events as well.
You could be proactive and actually go and find the events that suit you and offer to donate.
And that would be better for you, because then you're kind of dictating the terms. I hate that word. You're kind of naming the terms in which you're going to sponsor. So you're comfortable with the sacrifice that you're making, as opposed to kind of it being the other way around, where you're being frog marched into it. And then you find, oh gosh, I think it's good if you sponsor and stay. If you are at the event, stay till the end of the event. Make note of whoever wins. If you're giving something through a raffle or an auction, make note of the person who wins. Take a photo with that winner. Put it on your social media page. At least if you know. And I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, absolutely. And that's it. You also need to be getting something out of it. That is exactly why you're doing it. You're doing this for, and I use that dirty word again, exposure. People die of exposure. Yeah, we all know that. Anyway, but you need to be able to control the kind of exposure that you
get.
You need to be able to talk about what marketing for you want at this event, whether it's flyers on tables, business cards, whether it's a big pull-up banner somewhere, whether it's a note in the newsletter. If you're donating, depending on how much, you should be able to tell them, or they should even come to you and say, we can offer you this.
Yes, and if they say you are available to be put on the newsletter, what kind of plug you'll get, if it's just your logo on the PowerPoint, that really depends how long it's up there. But then it becomes, I've been to those events where it's like, thanks to ABC, EFG, HIJ,
and it's just a bunch of logos
and a bunch of names,
nothing.
and people are cutting into really crusty rolls of bread at that time, so they're not listening. so there's the good and the bad. So try and find your own good, and if they say you're going to go in the newsletter, take responsibility of what they're going to say about you. Offer those words because it is your business. Don't let them do it for you because they're going to do it just to tick a box. Whereas you want to do it because you want, if anyone finally sees it, they get a good understanding of who you are. So take responsibility of that. Don't expect other people just to do it because they say they're going to do it. Just say, hey, I'll send you the words for it now and do it really quickly. And like I said, find the winner and ask the winner, hey, congratulations, I'm the owner of this business. Do you mind if I take a photo? And people are open to say no. And others are like, yeah, sure. Or, and if they've won like a bunch of products, approach them and say, this is why I've put what's in there, if you don't mind me explaining. And you go, there's this, there's that, this is amazing for this is amazing for that. Especially if a guy has won a beauty product. He has to take it home. so work it, make it fun for yourself. Look at it as a game of, okay, this is what it is. But be very careful about the ones that go, in order for you to sponsor, you need to do this. And you're finding yourself spending money and also losing money. But that's losing in both ways because you've spent money to attend the event and then you've given them something that you are going to have to account for as a loss from the business. And then at the end of the day, no one wins. So
that's it. Get
your social media plugin going. Even make suggestions to these organizers as to how you think it would benefit you, especially if they do want your sponsorship.
Absolutely. Also, a point, if people are asking you to donate things to an auction, especially if you're an artist, people are always approaching artists to donate works to auctions or exhibitions. Just remember that you don't have to donate 100% of the proceeds. I know there's a few exhibitions that raise charity for charities, and they will offer the artist, you can have 50% of what we raise.
Yes.
And there's those kind of deals. So just because you're donating, you don't have to give 100%, but you also need exposure. That's kind of why you're doing it as well.
Why you're doing it, and that's where I think you should suggest how it's done. So before the auction, offer the words of why it's being put up there. I went to an event where they had a TIE fighter. Yeah. I don't know what that is.
Like Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh gosh, you're really smart. Because I wasn't.
Just a geek.
Yeah, and I didn't know what that was. I was like, TIE fighter, what is that? And then when the picture went up, I was flabbergasted how many people actually bid for that. But without that knowledge of Star Wars and its legacy and, it's hard for people to then relate to why it's up there. Especially for artists, they really should be given the opportunity to just have a few words available to the auctioneer or themselves to allow people to then relate to why it's up there, because it is so disappointing when you see good things go up for nothing or really low bids.
Absolutely. And the artist doesn't get to, talk about it, or there's nothing in it for them. Exposure.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So doing that. So yeah, that TIE fighter to me.
You're dead to me, Kat. You don't know what a TIE fighter
I
is?
did watch the most recent one, which was 2 years ago.
Oh dear.
I'll watch the next one coming out in a few days.
I don't know who you are anymore. Oh my goodness. Thanks so much, Kat, for that.
No problem.
Donating. It doesn't have to be all bad. You can get something out of it too. It's a two-way street.
Absolutely.
Taking care of business. Actually, I was going to say it's going to be back next week, but it's not. No, next week, as of next week, these are all going into a music mag. So Taking Care of Business will be back next year on about, I think, the 12th of January. Of course, if you want to hear what we've been talking about, there's the Facebook page. You can go and have a look at that and restream those podcasts that we've been putting up there. And of course, if you want to know anything for next year, if you've got some suggestions for shows, please hit us up on the Facebook page or drop a line to studio@rtrfm.com.au and give us those suggestions. We'd love to follow up and help you do business better.
Yes, absolutely.
We want you to kill it out there. You're tuned into The Mag with Jane.